I'm Emily from Threaded Journey. Don't stress. Let's break this step down together.
If you watched my video on cutting out fabric, I talked about cutting your sleeves and doing it correctly. So head back over to my other videos and watch how to cut out your fabric, and I really go over explaining how you do the sleeves so that you have them marked correctly. Okay, so here I'm ready to clip it in. This one's nice because there's no gathering or whatever. It should just fit in nice and smooth. So you won't be able to see me, but you should be able to, see my face, but you can watch what I'm doing. So I had the little mark here that is matching up with the shoulder seam. I'm doing right sides together. This is the front bodice piece. This is the back bodice piece, okay? On my sleeve here, I'm making sure that my right side is to my right side. My pattern marking one line is over here, so it matches my front bodice piece, and obviously my back one is here. I'm going to start out, I'm going to put this little line right here at my seam, and I'm going to clip it in. If you're using knit fabric and you are still using pins, go to Amazon and get you some clips. These things make it so much easier. Pins just slide everywhere. Okay, so I did my middle one first, and then I did right there at the edge on that one. I'm gonna do the edge on the other side over here. Go ahead and get that clipped in. Sometimes I find that it helps maybe if I then also put clips here. Just depends on the sleeve that I'm putting in. This one shouldn't be any issue at all, but sometimes they'll kind of like move around a little bit. So as I'm doing it, I'm kind of curving it in because it's curved on your body, okay? That makes it a little bit easier to just kind of ease it in. And there again, I said sometimes with the neckband, if you watch that video, I might have to use my teeth. Same thing here. I've been known to use my teeth as another hand. But I'm just going to kind of make big clip sections to start with, and then just kind of work from there. But that one went in real easy, but it helps so much if you'll just curve it because it's not flat. It's not intended to be flat. So when I curve it, it all matches up perfectly without stretching. But when I have it laid out, it doesn't laid out flat, it kind of doesn't look that way. So I'm gonna just do the same thing over here, and then I will just go back, stitch it. Should be no problem to stitch it. And you'll have a beautiful sleeve set in. All right. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a hint here. If you're new to knit fabrics, and you're having problems with your machine eating your fabric, first of all, if it starts to eat your fabric, stop. Don't keep trying to push it through. That doesn't help. Just stop, cut it off, pull out that fabric, and start again. But I like to start a little bit away from my edge. Then there's no problem with my fabric getting caught down in the bobbin casing. All right, so just make sure that it's a little bit further. I stitch forward a little bit, then I stitch back, and then I can stitch back a little bit closer to the edge, but I don't go all the way to the edge because that's going to be in my seam allowance anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, now as we're sewing our sleeve in, go slowly and make sure it doesn't get off. It's easy to see on the top piece, but that bottom piece can slide up under that. So just go slow, make sure it keeps lining up as you unclip each time. Don't sew all the way to your clip. Stop, unclip, then work on your next section, okay? All right, not sure how well you'll be able to see this with the light behind me, but like I said, I am constantly trying on and off what I'm making just to make sure I'm happy at each step. It's easier to unstitch now than it is later on, okay? So I pressed my seams first, then I ironed my seam to the bodice side. And now I'm just making sure there's no little pucker, there's no little wrinkle. It's so frustrating to put it on and there'll be just like a little bitty pucker. And then that point it comes to where it's your decision as to if it's gonna bother you or not. Most people are not gonna notice. But anyway, this one is going to be a elbow length sleeve, which is all the rage right now. So what I'm gonna do next is just stitch up the sides, and that makes it easy to do a sleeve like this and doing your side seam from your hem of your sleeve all the way down to the hem of your shirt versus a set-in sleeve. That's a different process. That's where you've already done your side seams and then you're putting your sleeve in a circle. So two different processes. I have my sleeve here on my ironing board, and before I stitch up my side seams, I'm just going to do a crease right here at what will be my turn-up line to do my sleeve hem. When we were cutting it out, you'll notice there was that little triangle piece. What that does is that when you turn it up, it lines up perfectly with the side seam. So that's why that's there. But this just makes it easier because when you are ironing it around on a little tiny sleeve, it can be a little bit difficult. So if you just have that press seam already there, it'll just help a little bit. So now I'm going to stitch up the side seams. I have sewed to the little V mark. Got my finger here. Little V mark, and see my little red line right there? It is lined up with my needle. It is right there at that little notch. So I'm going to take, see how my, see how my needle is still down in my fabric. I'm going to lift up my presser foot. I'm going to turn my fabric so that my presser foot, when I put it back down, is now lined up to go straight along here. That will make that nice transition of a turn be sharp and not be a curve. Hopefully you can see that made just a nice little transition right there. It didn't go off wonky. I didn't just cut it off straight. I made it so that when we're turning up this hem, it should work out perfectly right there. All right, so sleeves are in, side seams are in, sleeves are hemmed. This particular pattern has a 1-inch hem. Right now I just did one stitch across. I don't know if I'll go back and do a second one. I just kind of wanted to see what it looks like, but because this one's going to have a wide bottom hem, I may just leave it with the one stitch. I don't know, probably wait until the end to see. But this particular pattern had an elbow length sleeve, and I thought I would try that out and see how it looks. Crew neck, and I think it's cute.
Thanks for watching, and you might also like these videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe.